speaking of that, the new country, I want to touch on this from our friends at the Alberta Prosperity Project. They flagged this
Mm.
to me last night. And so they sent a post-rally press release to the mainstream media. They didn't have to send it to me because I was there. But they sent it to the mainstream media liars. And they sent one to a post media local newspaper.
Okay.
Um, and it's the Spruce Grove Examiner. So this is one of the bedroom communities. And I should tell you, Spruce Grove and Stony Plain, conservative places.
Mhm.
Actually, it's coal country. Spruce Grove, Stony Plain, um, sent to their reporter slash editor, because these newsrooms are shrinking. So he's the reporter slash editor for
Okay.
both of these publications, Josh Thomas. And they said, that they sent their press release quoting their numbers, and their numbers are based on the police estimates there, but also drone footage and then analysis of the
Sure.
drone footage. And so, the police on the ground told me 5 to 6,000. Drone footage suggests maybe 10, maybe 12, maybe twice that. And it's difficult when you're in the crowd to get a
Yeah.
concept of the size.
Yeah.
Um, Especially as people are coming in, they're leaving, and like the legislature plaza is like 2 levels, so
Yeah.
you have to
It's
go up to the top. Like it's enormous.
it's static. Yeah. And if you don't have a very high vantage point, it's tough to tell. Yeah.
Yeah, but they did have drone footage, and so at least in the thousands. Okay, let's say much larger than the Charlie Kirk vigil, which was large at least 3,000. So let's
Mhm.
just put it past whatever the number is. It ain't what the what is it? The Spruce Grove Examiner, Stony Plain
Yep.
Reporter
The
says.
mainstream media.
Oh, okay. And I should tell you, the Post Media is the single largest recipient of Trudeau's bailout bucks to
Of
the
course they are. Of
right.
course
Like
they
it's
are.
like 115,000 bucks a week or something that these guys get.
Holy
Not
Hannah.
this outlet, but the company as a whole. Like it is a
Yeah.
lot of money, plus all the other benefits and blah 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 that they get.
Sure.
So you would think that they would have the manpower to get in their vehicle and go to this enormous rally, right? Like I did.
Mm.
And we're much smaller than Post Media, and we have no government handouts to do it.
Mhm.
But this is what government handouts do to you. Okay. So he writes back and he says, this rally did not have 1,000 people, let alone 10,000. Alberta is not and will never be a sovereign nation. Stop sending this divisive, misleading, factually incorrect rhetoric to our publication, please. This is the editor. You should be fired. This is Post.
Holy Hannah.
You're not an opinion columnist.
No, and there is a mile wide difference between
Right.
a standard newsroom and opinion. A
Then he
mile
goes
wide
on to
difference.
say, there is no evidence to suggest Alberta could survive as a sovereign landlocked nation. Can I introduce you to Kazakhstan? But I suppose he's the editor of two local publications that nobody reads and has to survive on government handouts.
Handouts.
So I can't expect him to know these things, but Kazakhstan for sure. And that's an oil producing country, but
Huh.
he knows best. Separation is a farce. We are not interested. It's not about you. What's your name again? Josh Thomas? It's not about you.
Josh.
It's about the news, and it's about the people of the area. They are entitled to the news, not filtered through you. You want to be partisan, that's great. I am. But don't pretend that you're not partisan.
That's
That's my
right.
problem with this.
That's exactly right.
He's
And don't and even when like even though we work in conservative media, right? We're honest about that. We're honest about
right.
that and how that influences our take on things. But what Josh does here is basically deny the Alberta Prosperity Project of what actually happened that day.
Right.
Josh should have been a witness to that day and
Right. That's journalism.
accurately reflected what he experienced there, his own biases and beliefs be damned. But he
Right.
doesn't do that. What he says is, which is a kind of unforgivable, stop emailing me. Stop
Right.
emailing me, Alberta Prosperity Project. This is never going to work. This is never what you had several thousand people out there that said that it absolutely is going to work. So,
Right.
Josh, I look forward to you moving out of the new country when it
Right.
happens.
Well, or you
You
know
could be the
what,
first.
Josh?
You could be first on
Publish
the
publish
train.
an op-ed debunking what the Alberta Prosperity Project
Sure.
is saying. Instead, you just do a bunch of series of Canada Patree stories. I went and looked on your LinkedIn. Real
Uh,
stuff, really blowing my hair back.
huh.
Um, with your groundbreaking local coverage, you have a major separatism rally, and this is an issue that the Americans are even interested in.
Sure.
You do a lot of local bureaucrats pat themselves on the back stories, and you
Mm.
should. I guess there's a dignity in work, I guess, but are you really moving the needle in the world there? I'm not so sure. He says there's no evidence to suggest Alberta could survive as a sovereign landlocked nation.
You've finished a long run. You're hot. And thirsty. This is what we call a last resort. If your most recent electricity bill says the rate of last resort, then your rate is like the half-finished water bottle you noticed sitting on a bench. It will serve its purpose, but there are likely better options available.
Watch us.
But there are other sovereign landlocked nations who
Sure
are
there
oil
are.
producers that are surviving just fine.
Sure there are.
Separation is a farce. We are not interested. Again, it's not about Post media being interested. You're supposed to do the news for the people. If you want to work in an opinion space, go work as a columnist or
Move
go
over
work,
there.
or go work for one of the other
But
publications.
as the
Whatever left-wing-
editor,
Yeah.
as the editor, this is absolutely egregious.
And
Yeah.
then he says Alberta prosperity can only exist within Canada.
Okay.
Okay, well, we'll see. And again, you want to be biased, you want to be politically left, that's great, but don't do it on the pages of something that somebody else is paying for with their tax dollars.
Yep, that's right.
I have a political viewpoint. I would like to think that my political viewpoint is slightly more informed than Josh's. I believe that facts and history bend towards conservatism. And
Sure.
the reason I'm conservative is because I've examined the facts, and that's what it lends my viewpoint to. But he doesn't even provide any facts in rebuttal. He just says, "This is hateful. Don't send it to us." Where's the hate?
And imagine in Josh's capacity as leader of a newsroom, if this is the stance that he takes in an email back to the Alberta Prosperity Project, imagine how he's guiding younger journalists in their coverage of the news. Like, imagine a young journalist came there and said, "Hey, I went to this thing. There was 10,000 people there. It was really great. Heard really inspiring messages." You know what Josh would say? Absolutely not. We're not running
Right.
that story. That's how these things work. And that's how newsrooms work.
Sure.
Is the editor gets to the editor gets to decide the tone and the direction of the journalist's work. And so just imagine how corrupt that newsroom is by Josh's lefty craziness. Like,
I'm going to give everybody just a little insight into how we do things at Rebel News. I
it is so
generally
different. Yes.
I
go on.
generally don't flag. I don't assign stories to people. I want them to develop their own beat and their own stories, because I want you, the viewer at home, to know how sincere they are. And if I were just assigning things that mattered to me in my rural Alberta mindset, to people like David Menzies, who lives in
Sure.
Toronto, Greater Toronto, like, he wouldn't have the facts, he wouldn't have the perspective, and you would know that he was faking it. And I
That's
don't want
right.
that. David Menzies cares about Toronto. I
Mhm.
am completely the opposite. and like Tamara Ugolini, I think, is Canada's leading health journalist. Drea
Sure.
Humphrey focuses on Christian persecution, LGBT
And ostriches.
issues, and of all things, ostriches.
Right.
I care about firearms rights, parents' rights, farming, taxes. But my women's issues are taxes. And so we all sort of have a different take on things. And I feel like it makes our work authentic. Now, I will flag things because it's my job to watch the
Right.
world. And I will say to David, "Oh my God, you're never going to believe this story about the TTC. They're canceling Halloween. And this is what I found when I was digging it up. And if you like the story, run with it." But
Right.
the story pitches come up to me I don't
Right.
send them back down.
Right.
And that's not how it works in other newsrooms.
Absolutely not.
And how I tell the journalists when they're crafting a story is always to follow the facts wherever they lead you. And you might come to a point where the facts are inconvenient to your preconceived conclusion.
Sure.
But this is a learning
A
moment
challenge.
for you.
A challenge. Sure. It
This-
challenges you all the time. I need to make sure that my personal bias doesn't override where this story is leading. It happens
Right.
all the time.
Right. And so, but to follow the facts wherever they lead you so that you can
Mhm.
properly inform the public, you actually have to follow the facts. Like you have to be
Right.
out there getting the facts. And Josh didn't even get the facts. Like, where was your journalist at a rally of, let's say, between 6 and 12,000 people? You didn't think that was newsworthy, even if you disagree with their viewpoint. You didn't think that was newsworthy? That was the editorial position you took?
Oh, I bet
Are
Josh
you
covered
crazy?
I bet Josh covered the teacher rally last week.
For
I
sure.
bet he was all over that and had accurate head counts, but
Yeah.
this is where we're at.
Anyways, this is the state of news. And then you wonder why they keep needing bailouts. It's because
Well.
they deserve a market correction. And as long as that money keeps flowing in, they get to keep having
Well,
Josh's
But
as their editor.
this is another perfect example of why trust in the MSM in Canada is
Completely.
in the toilet. And I think that there's going to be a lot more people not trusting Josh and the Stony Plain Examiner reporter
Yeah.
than there were before.
Bruce Grove reporter
Yes,
exam.
well, yeah.
Again, I don't even know. I don't know. And it's like the same 5 columnists, and it's like they're writing in these small town newspapers with their big city mentalities. And it's the
Right.
stupidest thing. It's cultural colonization, by the way. Like, go back to Edmonton.
Yeah.
Just go.